Okay guys, as most people on Assetto Corsa will know on PS4, the patch is at 1.03 is out. I'm going to go through some of the details you can see there now on the information. We've had some improvements within the screen tearing that we were getting, and the frame rate now is much smoother, is what they're saying on the notes. So we're going to go and look into that in depth. Quick races, you can now set a set qualifying position for yourself to start a race within quick races. The control pad has been adjusted to improve the handling on the pad, and we've had AI opponent improvements to make some events easier. Some a new very hard difficulty in between the alien and hard, and obviously the very easy setting that you can go into, and improved algorithms within the AI. We've also had a new car, well, say a car, but it's an SUV, and a track, which we're going to have a look at in a minute and go through in like with a little preview. Thought I'd do it in basically one go. So we're going to try out the new Maserati Levante around the new track. We're not going to do all variations of the track. We're just going to do the main, the longer version of the track when it comes to it. As you can see there's other details in there that I haven't probably mentioned. You can now reset to default within steering wheels. There's better compatibility. Obviously, we've also got now the virtual wheel rotation. We've got an option to change the degrees of the virtual wheel. So first off, what we've got now is the Maserati Levante S. So we're gonna have a little look at the details of the car and the different. First of all, we'll go through the colours of the car, which we can get it in. So it's obviously very basic, nothing too extravagant on the colours. Presuming they're using some base data from the manufacturers, which colours you can get it in. We're just going to go with the black. I think I like the look of the black, and especially an SUV colour, I'd pick it in anyway if I ever had the money to buy something like that. So it's got 420 horsepower, quite a lot of torque, quite heavy. It's obviously very heavy, 2,100 kilograms, but for an SUV, that's not that heavy. So it's going to probably be quite a nippy car. Obviously 0 to 60 there, you can see in 5 seconds flat, so it's definitely got some acceleration going on in the car. We'll have a look at the track. So obviously there are three variations this track. We're just going to look at the main variation, the longer version. So it's a very long track at 11,244 meters long. A very wide track as well, as you'll see on the video in a bit. 15 meters wide in places, obviously a little bit thinner in other places. So we're going to go through a little. I'm going to explain what it felt like to drive, and I won't really do any sort of guide because this is literally the first go I was driving this car on. And I didn't have a clue where I was going, so it's just a case of just guessing. So excuse the little mistakes within this run. I think there was a couple of little scrapes on the wall, one quite bad on the last corner because I didn't expect it to be that sharp. But like I say, it's my first run. I can imagine this track being a really good run track for doing some hot lapping on, especially in a faster car like SHAREfactory or something like even an F1 car would be quite enjoyable on this track. I think it might get a little bit iffy in certain places with the elevation changes, but it'd be worth a try. First thing that grabbed me with this car though is the feeling of weight. They've really seemed to have got that feeling of weight within the car. You can feel the weight transfer within the physics. It definitely feels like what I'd expect something like this car to drive if you was to be pushing it reasonably hard. Obviously I'm not pushing it flat out, as you can see. I'm being a bit cautious on some of the corners because I just don't know where I'm going basically. So we've got a little jump here. Well, we're going to test it out. I'll show you a little clip after this run. We're going to test out to see if we can get airborne on that. I think we can. By the way they've placed that camera, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to get airborne, and we'll show you a little clip just to see what we can do with another car around there. So you can see it's a very fast track. A little change in the tarmac up here now. As you come up here, you'll see we go through to quite a rough terrain, and you can really feel it on the physics. I don't know what. Yeah, see, this is where the F1 car may have some issues. This is another point. I'm not sure if it would be a best idea to try the F1 car around. It might be fun just to try and get through this little bit. Obviously, you can adjust the setup to cope with it, but we'll see when we get to doing some runs on this track. I've got to learn this track. I definitely want to learn it because it's a really fast track. Got some nice bends in it, some nice fast corners, some little hairpin bends. It's a good fun track. So going back to the car we're driving, obviously it's the Maserati Levante. It feels, it's like I say, it's got a real feel of heaviness, and you can feel the suspension slightly rolling more than the other cars. I think this is, I mean, it's not a car that I would have chose to add as a free car, because I want to drive fast race cars, road cars. You see there we're making a little mistake, one of only a few, but obviously we don't know where we're going. That corner took us by surprise a bit, but like I say, I mean, I'm not overly excited about this car, because I mean, my idea of what cars I want to drive are race cars, performance cars, or even like hot hatches, something just that you'd want to drive. Not I wouldn't be too excited about an SUV, although this is obviously a very powerful one. Doesn't really, it's not my idea of a perfect car to add this DLC, but it's free, so you can't complain. But the track is definitely a good addition to the game. It's not visually amazing, because obviously the scenery is basically very a bit like a desert basically, so there's no real amazing scenery. It looks okay, it looks good, but it's not gonna like grab you and make you think, wow, this looks amazing. There is some moments. I did set the time quite late to see what it looked like with the sun being quite low on, and we do get one little clip when they seem to have set a little part of the track where the sun captures it if you're running it late, which we'll see in a bit. But like I say, if you see, this is the part now, so the sun comes through there, looks reasonably good there, but like I say, it's just rocks on either side. It's not the most visually appealing track. It reminds me a bit of I can't even remember the location within Drive Club, a Chile location I think it was. Obviously I think the Drive Club looked a bit better because the game obviously looked better, but it's got that similar feel, which I think like that wasn't one of my favourite locations on Drive Club within the on the point-to-point events. It was that was probably one of the a bit more dull locations in the game, I felt, but this has got that kind of look about it. It's not the best visually looking, but it's a great track to drive. You can see there as we hit the wall on the last corner, so this is a track that'll be great fun to hot lap though, I feel. You'll be able to get some really good replay cameras from this track, which I'll be looking forward to doing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to see if we can get some airtime in the Ferrari. See there, we get it up on with the FXX, so that's going to provide some good replays this track. So that's one thing that I think that's why they position that camera there, obviously, because they know that you're going to be able to get it airborne. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at the frame rate and the screen tearing issues. Now, the frame rate was more so when you had 16 cars quite tightly close together. I wasn't getting that bad a frame rate, but every now and then it would if I had 16 cars all close together, you would get a little bit of an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into an Alien AI race, all in the 650S. We're using a setup that I've done, which I've got a video coming out from an online race with this setup that I'm using here soon. This was just basically jumping in straight on the game and testing it out, so I was a bit rusty. Didn't play the game yesterday because I was on F1, so it felt a little bit weird. Obviously felt a little bit strange playing after playing F1. So I was on this game yesterday, but I'd played F1 since, so felt a little bit weird. But like I say, still as long as we kept it on the track, that was the main thing for this video. Just trying to keep within the pack as well, in the middle, to just test out that frame rate and the screen tearing. The screen tearing definitely seems to be improved. Everything looks a lot smoother as well when you're playing it. Now I noticed straight away as soon as I started and running within the 16 cars, it definitely, you can feel that it's a lot smoother, as we nearly rear end the AI there with just about stopping time. But it definitely feels a lot smoother, and the screen tearing seems to have been gone from the initial test I've done. I'm not going to say it's fully gone because I haven't been able to test every track or every combination, but on this one it did seem much better. Not that screen tearing is really something I always pick up on though. Not something I don't know whether it's the way I look when I'm driving at the corners. I don't know if it's something I don't know if I'm focusing that much. I don't really pick up on it as much, but I did notice it before the patch a little bit. on certain areas. It was quite bad in certain situations, but it definitely seems like a massive improvement within the screen tearing, and the frame rate 100% seems a lot better. It's not perfect. There's we do get a little issue on one corner towards the end of the race. I think it's on one of the tighter chicanes, not the chicanes, the one of the hairpin bends, where the cars get quite compact, and we had a little stutter within the frame. It wasn't anything major, didn't really impact the gameplay or nothing, so it's not the worst case that it could be. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better than what it was. So now that we've got basically, I think they've tried to basically get the priorities was obviously the screen tearing and frame rate for this patch. They're the things I think they've concentrated on for this patch. They were probably already working on them things before basically when the game was coming out. They're probably already working on them things, knowing that they were going to be issues. So I'm guessing the next main things, but I don't think will happen anytime soon, is some form of custom or private lobbies. But I know for a fact how complicated these are for smaller teams, and after being quite close with Evolution Studios, I know that they take a long time and they're not easy and they're quite complicated for especially a smaller team like Assetto Corsa. Not many people know, but they've only got 30 employees. They're not a big team. They're not like these big Call of Duty teams and other like Forza teams and Gran Turismo, where they've got hundreds of people. Like Forza, for example, 300 plus employees on Forza 6. These have got 30 employees, and they've created this with 30 employees, which is quite amazing when you think about it. And you're not going to get, I don't think you're going to be getting any private lobbies within the next few months, in my view. I can't see them happening within 3 or 4 months. It's going to be at least half a year, I think, before they could get some form of private lobbies tested and out on the working state. So, I mean, I might be wrong, but it'd be interesting to see what happens within the private lobby situation. Other areas that could probably do with some form of improvement would be for me at least, it would definitely be the wheel settings and mapping, which I know they are working on. They've already tweeted that they are looking at that, but it's something that 100% needs them sorting out. Because, for example, on my T500, the DRS button is in the R3, which is a button at the bottom of the base of the wheel, which is literally the most daft place you can put a DRS button. There was I could have personally have set that wheel up better than what they have done. There is buttons that don't need to be on the main part that they could have swapped around and put there. It's just a little bit daft, but hopefully they give us some options to map some buttons and change them around, etc., and swap them out. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and you can see that there is improvements within the game now. And I'll leave you with some replay footage from this race, so you can just see the improvements within the replay as well. It is noticeable. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon. Thanks again, guys.